What's the secret, do you think, in terms of positioning yourself in front of investors, pitch decks? Like, what were all the tools that you use, and what are some best practices founders should learn from you?
I think it depends. You kind of want to position yourself as a business founder or as a product founder,
Okay.
right? And I generally would encourage people to go extreme in one direction rather than be trying to be both. So business founders are people who are essentially trying to come off extremely organized and well connected. Usually a business founder would have a previous exit. So if that's not you, just keep this in mind. It can be really tough to go that route.
Yep.
And essentially, off of just an idea and off of a network, typically a business founder can raise a substantial chunk of money, right? Typically, what that looks like is using their network again to structure a ton of meetings over a very tight schedule. They take calls with those VCs. The VCs, after the call, reach out to their other VC friends, and their other VC friends all say, "Oh, I'm talking to that individual too." And they start feeling really nervous, like, "Oh, if I don't invest in them, then I'm going to lose this opportunity." So then they quickly write them a term sheet. The business founder then typically will have a very clean data room. They'll typically have a process, right? And try to take investors through that process very quickly. It's actually very similar to dating, where you're just like, go on as many dates as you can and just keep trying to schedule the next date and come across as confident, but not overly pushy, stuff like that, right?
Okay.
In terms of the consumer founder, typically what you're trying to look at, like, it's very busy, which is kind of funny, where it's like you get some general deck, right, that just goes over, like, look at how fast we're growing, look at how amazing our product is, how much our users love it. And
Totally.
it's just an intro deck, and you just circle that to as many investors as you can. And then investors are curious about this, and they'll reach out to you, and you say, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy this month. Can we talk like this week and this next month?" And
Gotcha.
hopefully you can book a bunch of investors into that week, and you
Yes.
kind of end up running a similar process. But it's more, again, centered around your customers and your product than it is around things like a data room or your financial model or anything like that.
Let's explain this in a few different terms here. When you're talking about a business founder, what investors are looking for is the exceptional founder. So if you've had a previous exit and you took something unicorn, yes, Elon Musk is one of those founders. He raised $6 billion for XAI, and it's not even a thing yet. He just puts it out there and says, "I'm raising for this." Jeff Bezos came to me and said, "Ed, invest in my next startup. I have no idea what it is, but it'll be good." I would write him a check, right? Who's not going to write them a check? And if you've got that pedigree, you can definitely become that exceptional founder because investors believe that you can figure it out. And every investor is going to say, your first idea, your first version is going to be wrong. It's going to be janky, but get it out there. And I trust that you're going to figure it out. Now, what happens if you don't have that pedigree behind you, which is most founders, that includes me right in the beginning. Now, since I've developed a reputation and I've got investors I can contact and say, "Hey, I want you to take a look at this new venture," and they're always going to be open. They're always going to take my meeting because I have a track record. But before, I had to focus on product, as Justin talked about, but more so traction. You either have lots of traction going in, or you're an exceptional founder. And if you're the type of founder, because you got so much traction, you're busy, "I can't take this meeting, we're only going to raise in a certain window, look at all the users," and you're communicating, that's what's going to create the FOMO as well, because we invest in diamonds in the rough. We're looking for those founders that found that obscure opportunity that no one's looking at, underserved, underrepresented, underestimated. And I think that's where volleyball falls into the whole equation. I love the concept of it because it's like you have no idea how many people play volleyball on a casual basis and how hard of a problem this is. That's why competition is going to come and solve it.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into the actual numbers and Google them, I think you'd be surprised how many people play it globally. And it comes back to the fact that it's a lifelong co-ed sport, right? There aren't many sports in that category. A lot of the sports that people think are the really big ones are actually mostly just played by youths. So a lot of the adult sports haven't really been built for yet. And we think this is a really cool opportunity to show people that you can build something really big and really impactful in the adult space.